Greetings, everyone. Let's make a light up card today. So I'm starting with the Waffle Flower Postage Collage Mini Slimline die and stencil set. And I'm using Distress Oxide Twisted Citron, and I'm splattering a little bit on top of that with some water. And then I'm going to add some of this Kuretake Pearls watercolor just for some extra interest. Love that green. Blends perfectly with this. And then I'm going to take the Lawn Fawn Deck the Car. I'm taking these die cuts, and first I'm going to take that Candy Cane Lane 6x6 paper. I want to try to match the reds. So I picked out that paper first, and then I'm taking the silver Sharpie. So I don't have to cut out those little hubcaps in silver paper. And then I'm just going to color these with my Ola markers. And what I'm trying to do is I had actually seen some designer had done this before where they didn't just die cut in black and then color so that there's that black outline. They actually cut everything out in white and colored everything, even the outline. And I thought that looked really fun. So I decided to do the same thing for my card. So all the outline pieces are getting colored to match what that blend is for those inset pieces as well. And so I actually picked a really light color red to match that lighter stripe. And then the darker red is matching the outside. And it blends actually kind of nice and gives the car a little bit of a 3D look, nice and rounded. Then just finishing this up here, gotta get all those perfect. And then because it's white, you want to make sure you actually get around the edges a little bit too. So you'll see me pick that up and do the insides and outsides a little bit too. And then I'm going to mount these onto black paper so that you can't really see any white behind that. And then we're just going to quickly do these inlays. Super fun, but oh, so I want the lights that I'm going to be doing because, of course, this is a light up card. And so I want it to be the lights on the front and the back of the car. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just trimming actually from the outside in and kind of making a little U shape on the back. And then I trimmed in and made that little hole where I marked it. And I'm putting some vellum there. And the reason why I didn't have to like poke through and I could just cut through is because I was going to just glue it back again to the paper and then to the frame. So it was fine to just cut from the outside and have to poke through. And then covering that with some of that Pear Blossom Press vellum. And then I actually colored that tail light red so that it'll glow red when it lights up. And we're just going to finish out putting in the inlays and keep fighting with that blue. It looks great, and then I feel like it fades when it dries. And so I think it's that perfect little hazy blue for the light. And then you'll see me, I think I go in again and do it a little darker later. But so another thing I saw some designers do is put some baker's twine on the tree. Super fun because yeah, you need to tie the tree to the car, right? So that's what I'm doing here is I'm going to glue that along the top. All I did was just tape it to the back. That's usually enough for me. And then that glue. And then we are going to use Easy Light because I just want it to light up and not flash or do anything fancy. And I only need two, so I trimmed off the one. I know it's hard, but just trim it off. It's fine. And I'm going to combine this with a wobbler because for me, when I see a car, I like to see it kind of rocking a little bit too. So I thought that would add to the motion of the car and make it look a little more lifelike with lights and a little bit of wobble to it. And then I took that Lawn Fawn hillside stitched borders, and then here I am balancing it on my finger so that I can find the point where it is kind of balanced out just because it's a little bit odd shaped, especially with the tree, it's a little heavy on top. And then you can put the wobbler exactly where it should go, and it won't just like lean against your card on one side. And then I marked where the wobbler needs to go, and then where I would like to cut it to get the light to go through, so those don't interfere. Because you don't want the light to try to the wires to try to come up right where you're trying to put that wobbler. And then I'm taking those stamps that come with these sets and just doing a tone on tone with the Distress Oxide Mode Lawn. And then I'm also using VersaFine Clair Nocturne to do the sentiment. And then now I can trim through those holes so I can get the lights through. And then we're going to start taping these on the back where they go. So I just use regular Scotch tape, just kind of smooth it down with my nail to make sure it's really good in there. Trim off the little bit of excess hanging off. So I'm just lining up those lights both sides. Then it's going to be coming up right through the middle, so you don't really need to attach it any other way there. And then that wobbler attached and looks good. The wires are not stuck under the wobbler. That's the goal. And then I had cut out that little um, snowscape out of white glitter paper and then ran it through that same die, and it came perfect to match up with that with the hillside. And then I'm trying to figure out where I want the button, and then I forgot before I stamped, you want to make sure that the button goes where you want it. And I was worried that maybe I needed to put it at a different angle, so it worked out perfect. And then now that I know where I want it, I get the glue dots and I put that on the top, and then I can just line it up, press the button, and then stick it down, and I know that it's going to be in the right spot. And then I don't want those wires to be seen between the little postage stamp holes, so I'm taping it on either side so it goes right between. And then I actually attached it a little too tight and it wouldn't wobble, so that's me loosening it just a little bit and making sure it still wobbles. Super awesome. We're getting ready for the finishing touches here. Got that card base down. And then now we're going to get that World's Best foam tape. And I've got it spaced so that you can't see it in between those holes. I'm so excited. And the only thing I added here was some holographic glitter on the top of the tree and on the front and back of the card just to give it that extra little holiday wishes to go with that sentiment. Hope you enjoyed it. This one was super fun for me to make, and I hope it inspires you to make one yourself. See you next time.